The previous Labor government committed to halving homelessness by 2020. The new Housing Minister, Wendy Lovell, won't commit to a goal or a timeline to reduce homelessness. I spoke to Wendy Lovell at Parliament House. All right, well, Minister, thanks for joining 7:30 Victoria.
It's a pleasure to be here, Josie.
Now, why doesn't your government have a plan to deal with homelessness?
Well, we're developing a homeless strategy at the moment. The previous government actually dropped the ball on homelessness. They said in October 2009 that they would develop a strategy. A draft will be out in January 2010 and a final strategy by May 2010. They were 115 days late delivering that strategy, which came out in September 2010. They had 65 more days in government and did nothing towards implementing that strategy. But I was hearing there were problems with it. So immediately upon being sworn in as Minister, I met with people in the sector who told me they were unhappy with the strategy, that it lacked depth and detail, and they wanted an opportunity to have an input into further developing that strategy. So we've been working with the sector, we've had a round table, and now the department are working with them further to add some depth to that strategy.
So you haven't scrapped the strategy, you're reviewing it?
Well, no, we haven't scrapped it. We're building on the strategy.
And there was $40 million tied up or connected with that Labor's 2020 strategy. Do you still guarantee that funding will all go to the homeless sector? That
funding is still there, and we're adding to that strategy the funding that we brought with us as part of an election commitment, around $31 million for youth foyers and work and learning centres to make it a broader and stronger strategy.
So that $40 million is absolutely guaranteed?
The $42 million that was there will stay there with the strategy, and we will build on that.
And when will we see your policies? Because the sector is saying that they're in limbo at the moment.
Well, we're working with the sector, and we are working with the sector to strengthen that homelessness policy. I'm not about to rush it. I don't underestimate the challenge that's before me to reduce homelessness. So I want to get this right, not put out a strategy just for the sake of having a strategy like the former government did.
Will it be this year?
We'll work with the sector, and when the sector are happy with that strategy, we'll then release the strategy.
And experts say that cheaper housing is the only real solution that will end homelessness. What is your government doing in that area to deliver more homes more cheaply?
Well, my colleague Matthew Guy, the Planning Minister, has set up a new Urban Renewal Authority and also a Housing Affordability Unit within the Department of Planning. This is about a suite of policies that addresses housing at all levels, and housing affordability is largely about the planning issues and things like that. So Matthew and I are working together, and we will address the housing crisis that is facing Victorians at the moment.
What would you personally like as a goal in terms of reducing homelessness, and in what time frame?
Well, it's very difficult to say. As I say, it's hard to measure the amount of homelessness, and so it's hard to measure your successes. I think that we just need to keep working with the sector to ensure we're delivering the right services that are needed by people who are facing homelessness in Victoria.
Now that you're in the top job, are you sometimes a little bit overwhelmed by the task ahead?
Well, as I said, I'll never underestimate the task ahead of me. The number of homeless people out there is enormous. It's nearly 23,000 people in this state that have been identified as either homeless or in unstable accommodation. So, and that's predicted to grow again by 2020. So we do have to work hard to address those the issues that they're facing.
Wendy Lovell, thanks for joining 7:30 Victoria.
Thanks very much, Josie.